Welcome, my lovely goblins and ghouls of the internet. I am Hanyo, your demon cinephile, and I don't really want to do this video. Oh god, it's the Omen. It's coming for me. He's taking away my force. Oh. Okay, I'm back a little better now. Alright, so now this is the last of the original Omen movies. Well, no, we have one more movie after this, but that's a TV movie, so does it really count? Does it really count? This was intended to be the last movie. The Omen 3, The Final Conflict. This came out in 1981, so 3 years after part 2. But the timeline's all freaked up because I assume the first movie came out. So the first movie came out in 76. So I assume the movie took place in 76. And the next movie came out in 78, but it took place in 7 years later. So 76. I'm bad at math. So part 2 should take place in 1983. Alright, cool. But when this movie takes place in the far future. Damien is 32 years old, so I kind of like that symbolism. So he's 32 years old, so technically 1 year younger for the year Christ died. So nice little symbolism there. I like how it's not directly stated in the film, but the movie is supposed to take place in 84 because they actually mentioned the timeline, and early in the film, I'm not gonna go back and watch it because this movie was so freaking boring. I don't know why. Maybe because I watched it in the dark. I had to watch it in the dark. I'm not gonna explain why, but this movie was just so long, so boring. It's a lot more of a political thriller to an extent. They show a lot more of the political side of Damien being the Omen, of him running Thorn Industries, him becoming the ambassador of Great Britain to get ready to do battle with the reincarnated Jesus, which is basically his new enemy of the film. That is who he is going against in this movie, and it doesn't work. It's alright, so This movie is so frustrating. Okay, let me talk about some of the good parts of the movie. Alright, some of the good parts. First good part. Jerry Goldsmith comes back to do the score. It's not as good as part 1 and part 2. The score it doesn't have the same presence to me as the first 2 movies. It's not as haunting or creepy or anything like that. But the heavenly scores the film has near the end of the film, like when you're supposed to feel the presence of Christ, that score is actually very big and bombastic. It's hopeful. It's just divine. That actually is a good score. That's very uplifting. I actually like that score. Sam Neill, I think that's right. Let me look at his name real quick. Yeah, Sam Neill as a grown-up Damien. It's kind of cool. I kind of like the energy he brings. He feels kind of like what the other 2 actors would be, but as an adult version. He has the evilness to him, but it's controlled. It's not like a dumb, sinister evil. It's nonchalant evil. It's like, get this done, we gotta do this, I have to do this. He gets no real pleasure from any of the acts of violence or monstrosity any of the acts of violence or horror he causes. It's more like the fact of, I have to do this and I want to do this. It's not personal, it's just a need to. I find that a little bit more disturbing than if he was just cackling a bunch of times, you know what I mean? We get some interesting bits of Damien's followers. So Damien has his secretary in the film, and this guy, he actually knows Damien is the Antichrist, but he's not like a religious fanatic. He follows Damien's rules and orders like a normal secretary. He just, yes, Mr. Damien? Okay, Damien, sir? You want me to do regular business or Antichrist stuff? Okay, I'll do it like this. And I thought, okay, that's gonna be cool. There's this bit on this island. I think it was an island. Like I said, it just kind of came out of nowhere. where we see all of Damien's followers, or at least I guessing the English branch, and it's just a priest. It's just priest, normal everyday men and women and kids, and it's very unnerving, very weird. And then these are just Damien's followers. They're just normal everyday people that can be you and me. They're not over the top. They're not over the top Satanists. They're not in black robes. They're not chanting in Latin. They're just dudes and gals and little pals. And that was kind of offsetting. Then Damien's speeches kind of went on a little bit too long. It's like, all right, I get the point. You want them to kill the newborn Jesus. I get the point. I get the point. Let's roll it on. Roll it on. I mean, the movie felt like an hour and 49 minutes. But, you know, the movie was an hour and 49 minutes, but it felt like 3 hours. I have no idea why. I mean, part 2 also had that kind of feeling to it, which I don't understand why. The first movie didn't feel like it dragged at all. The first movie felt perfect, had like a perfect pacing to it. The movie didn't really feel like it was dragging. In fact, it felt like it was missing a little bit to it. Second movie felt like it had about 10 minutes it could shave off, and this movie just felt like I was watching it like forever. Like it felt like the movie was taking forever to get going. And then when it finally get going, it's like, all right, this is cool. Then it meandered to stupidity that I can't freaking focus. On our good guy side of the film, we have the 7 priests, I think it was 7, who now are in possession of the daggers. Now, instead of the original rule that was said in the first movie, that you have to use all 7 daggers, because this is what Boogie Hiken said. The first dagger would cause physical death. The physical death of the Omen. The rest of the daggers would be used to form the cross on Damien's body, which will cause spiritual death, which I'm guessing would mean would destroy Damien's soul. So I'm guessing if you just use the one dagger to kill him, Damien would either just come back as a spirit and possess somebody, or he'll just go to hell and have to wait to be reborn. Something like that. That's never brought up here. They just use the priests come together like, now we have to hunt down the Omen. You have to hunt down the beast and kill him. And the moment they come out to do it, Damien already knows, like, yeah, I notice you. I see you. And he easily kills them all. He traps two, like, the first guy kills himself. He traps 3 others in this old building. Gets 2 of them to kill their own by making them see an hallucination. I'm saying spoilers here, but I really don't care. I mean, there are a couple fun scenes, like when you see Damien use his powers to make a pack of dogs kill the incompetent priest. That was fun. Oh yeah, another dumb thing in this movie, they took out all the deaths. So how in the first movies they had the final destination like deaths where Damien, or at least the devil or one of the devil's minions, the little demons, whatever, would cause all those weird accidental deaths that would hurt anyone who got too close to finding out the truth about Damien. Yeah, those are not in here whatsoever. Those are just like gone. There's like one kind of like instance of this in the film, but it's barely anything like it. Again, in the first 2 movies, it's not as interesting, it's not as scary or terrifying. It's just there. I mean, there is kind of fun confirmation that Damien says, "It was my father's love that protected me all those years ago." So I guess that is confirmation that the last 2 movies, whenever all those final destination like events happened, that was Satan protecting Damien. This is fully grown Damien. Who's come into his own. He should know all his powers by now. He is the exact opposite of Christ on earth. But if we really see him do anything with his also magnificent abilities, or anti-magnificent abilities, if you know what I mean. he seems a lot weaker in this movie. I mean, they do say in the film that when Jesus is reborn on Earth, Damien will start to lose his powers, but we don't really see him. We don't really see him losing his abilities even greater than. What he doesn't see that much. He has no greater shown of power before the rebirth of Christ. Is what I'm trying to say. We don't see him do anything truly magnificent before Jesus comes back. So we don't really sure. So we don't even know how much power he is losing. And then the final conflict. The final conflict is so. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna spoil it to you. So Damien kind of falls in love, or is using this woman, who is this reporter, and I'm not sure if he actually has feelings for her, because he tries to drown her, then saves her. Kind of assaults her in bed. I'm not exactly sure. She has a bunch of scrapes and bruising the night she wakes up. The morning she wakes up, he is turning her kid into his apostles, and then she turns on Damien. She goes to one of the last remaining priests. They go to where the baby newborn Jesus is. Damien uses her boy as a shield from the magic dagger, kills the priest, and while Damien is so ADHD focused on looking for the baby, she managed to stab Damien in the back. He just froze off like, oh. He acts like he looks like the pain. He throws off like, he throws it off. Goes up to where the baby's crying. The baby stops crying. Then you get this superimposed image of Jesus manifesting in the sky. Once again, by a beautiful music by Jerry Goldsmith. Like, it is beautiful. I think my horns went away. That's how holy it was. And Damien just dies saying, "You haven't won. This proves nothing." He just dies. It was so freaking bad. Like, this one woman who has, her arc in the film isn't that bad. From a non-believer to a somewhat kind of a believer, but comparing that to Mr. Thorne from the first movie or Uncle Thorne from the second movie, like, she has no real strong connection to Damien for this to feel like a strong, like a big betrayal, like a big conflict, like a big winning conflict. You know what I mean? Like, this was the kid killing Damien, maybe because he was Damien's apostle. It'd be the kid turning away from Satan to save his mother. That would have been at least somewhat of an arc and an idea of an arc, but this wasn't even an idea of an arc. I don't know, maybe this character was from in the very beginning of the film, and she was Damien's fiance. He was keeping everything a secret from her for some reason. Like, she was the last shred of humanity he hasn't able to burn out of himself. That been kind of interesting, you know what I mean? But no, nothing. This is just a forgetful film, which is so weird because the first two movies are so good. This was just dumb, disappointing, and boring. I mean, there is one really, and I'm not sure if I use the word good scene, but there is one very, very dark scene where Damien states that all the babies born on this day should die. Well, at least all the male babies, because that could be Jesus. And we get this short montage of all these apostles of Satan killing all these newborns. And all the deaths of the babies are off screen, but you still hear enough. The dark priest putting the baby under the baptizing water, the nurse turning off the oxygen to the babies is in one of those little life support tanks. And then there's this one part where the baby is pushed into oncoming traffic, and then there's this, it's never shown but it's heavily implied that this woman puts a hot iron on her child. Like I'm not saying the film can't do that kind of stuff, because you're allowed to put any kind of dark subject matter into your film that you want. The darker, the better, to some extent, for me. But see, cups, beat him up, beat him up, beat him up. Oh, you're still here? You're actually still here at the end of the video? Oh, I'm surprised. Thank you for staying for the whole thing. If you have a few more seconds of your time, if I could, can you scroll down to that description and hit that little button that takes you over to my Twitch? I stream there almost every day. We play horror games, action games, and visual novels. So, if you don't mind, if you like what I do here, if you can stand my annoying voice here, follow me on Twitch and we can hang out some more. Alright, hope to see you over there. Have a good day.